Hi all, I'm in Fireside with Carol. Carol, it is so good to see you. You're such an important person to me for Camping in the Grove, and I just want to spend some time talking about how did we get here. Let's go back to when we started. What was in your mind? What was the genesis of Camping in the Grove?
What happened was that Karen and I were here at a workshop, and we went outside, and Karen said, "This is the place for camp." And it grew out of that. We just decided we were going to make camp and bring kids here because it's a wonderful place.
Along the same timeline, I was volunteering at FUFIC in Hunterdon County, and Karen asked me to help out with RE, and so I helped out for a year, and then Karen said, "Hey Joe, I got this idea, can you help out with camp?" And that's how I got connected to you, and so it's been a real big part of my life to see this camp back in 2012. And here we are in 2020, and we're still rolling. Even though it's virtual, we're still here for the future and for more years to come. Every year, we have certain standard things. We have campfires, we have s'mores, we have gaga, we have swimming. We also always have lots of games and crafts and activities, but we have a service component every year for the kids to do something for Murray Grove and for the community. Do you remember any of those service things that just stand out in your mind?
Absolutely. Early on, they did some cleanup, which wasn't terribly exciting. One year, we created a pollinator garden, and it still blooms. It's just beautiful, and it brings all the pollinators around.
I remember, and this goes to the second hat. And this hat we have, we went off campus for a couple of years with the adventure program for some of the other kids. And we did things like went canoeing, we went to the beach as the fun activities, but we also had some service activities. And one year, that group went to the community garden when it was just getting started with Bonnie, and we basically filled up all the bins to help start that garden. That to me was a big community service.
That was big, and the little kids, younger kids here at camp, made scarecrows to put in the garden and keep the crows away. And they were the funniest, big, ugly, weird, wonderful scarecrows you ever saw.
But I remember the fact that kids were getting their hands dirty, they weren't afraid to work, and they were doing something that made the community better. That's what we wanted to have when we had the service component tied into camp. I do remember the one year that we were really involved in social justice. And do you remember we made backpacks? A group got together and they made backpacks for teens in a homeless shelter. I think we did 12 of them that were distributed, things with pencils, rulers, cards, crayons. And also that year, that was the year we did for the food pantry.
I think the food pantry was a different year. And we worked here to fill bags of the components to make food for a family for a week. And we filled hundreds, the kids filled hundreds of those bags.
I think it was close to 300 bags that could be used for multiple meals for a family. So those are the kind of things that we thought that was real important for the service component. We want the people, we want the kids, the campers that come to Camping in the Grove to have fun for sure, but there's enjoyment in helping others and paying forward. That's part of the theme that I think is so important. The last thing we want to touch on is every year at camp, we make a camp banner from 2012 on. And what we're going to show you now is a bit of a montage that will take you through all the banners from 2012 all the way up until 2018. For some reason, 19 is...
we can't find the last banner.
We have it somewhere. We're going to find 19. So, and then later on, what we're going to want to do, all campers, is if maybe at home you can create something that's art, some art for camp, the camp experience you have, and then we're going to give you information as to where to send it. So as directors and as Reverend Carol, we're going to try to put it together to make a montage for this year's camping banner. I know it's going to be somewhat challenging.
We'll make a virtual banner.
A virtual banner,
all your designs.
Yes, so if you could do that. But for now, please enjoy this montage of all our camps. Thank you, and thanks, Carol. It's so good to talk to you about this.
This wouldn't be camp without you, Joe.
And same back to you, Reverend Carol. Welcome back, and we hope you enjoyed that montage with all the banners. And that first banner was what, 2012?
2012.
And that's when we started. So way back when we started, 2012, and I have a hope. I hope that we were here when it started, but I hope we're not here when it ends, because we want this to go into the future.